few picks, but Fnatic, they're one of these teams that could very easily go ahead and grab themselves an Arden as a first pick just to get that comfort for Net2let.
I'm very surprised that G2 banned the Rhyme. I actually don't agree with that ban, just because Fnatic have prioritized Cruel over Rhyme regardless as a first pick. They don't play Rhyme that much, and G2 could have easily secured that pick. But like you said, Tasty Bacon, Fnatic do go for the Arden first pick, and I was going to say that, in my opinion, what's going to be the most influential hero in the game as far as what role is going to be the captain role, because Net2let and Keanu both can enable their teams really well with what heroes they get. Fnatic might ban Lyra here just to take it away now that they have secured Arden.
Yeah, and the Lyra ban could come out, but I feel like G2 won't mind if the Lyra gets banned because Keanu can play a multitude of other heroes. The Grace would be available. Could, maybe we see them try and pull out the Churnwalker. We still haven't seen too many other teams putting an emphasis on that hero, but the Grace is another option too. So they have choices as far as the captains go if the Lyra is taken off the board, but you do love to get that healer.
And the pedal ban coming from G2 after they have secured Cruel, in my opinion, that's very smart also, because now Fnatic don't have too many options that they can play against the Cruel that works too well. What could work is either the Samuel or the Sky. Sky, in my opinion, is still incredibly underestimated here in Europe. It could work against so many different heroes that are being played in the meta. I really hope Fnatic picks up, but regardless, they do ban the Lyra that we mentioned.
Yeah, so for this pick, G2, they don't have to go for a captain here. They could just save the captain and go for a pick that they feel is strong, or they go for the captain, which they are going to do, and then have that counter pick available. And I feel like that's where the route a lot of teams are going right now in the draft is to try and make sure that they save that counter pick for last. They could even, kind of force Fnatic to think about going a Baptiste regardless of what they were doing, just to break up the Baptiste-Catherine combo potential. But Dark Potato, we haven't really seen much of a Baptiste from him, so it's, or at least not impactful Baptiste.
Well, if they don't really have to, just because they have already picked up Cruel. It would be very surprising if they played Cruel in lane or Baptiste in lane just to have that combo with the Catherine. Regardless, Fnatic do pick up Vox, and in my opinion, that's one of the stronger picks that you can go for against the Cruel and the Catherine, just because of how easily you're able to cut away. At the same time, though, because of your low range, it's difficult or risky. Your positioning is very crucial.
Well, with the Reza, it looks like we're going to be having a very brawl-focused composition, because this Fnatic squad, they like to fight. This lineup with these heroes is a very fight-focused composition. So look for G2 to maybe pick someone who they feel can match that brawl. We could see Hondur, perhaps onto a Rona pick again, but they could also see him go for something that, can deal with being a backline when these brawls break out. Something like the Celeste could be on the cards. Yeah,
like the Celeste you mentioned could be definitely on the cards. If they wanted to go a more regular weapon power hero, would be the Kestrel. She's still open, works well against the Vox, works well against the Arden, and even Reza, you're able to kite him away if he dives on you with your trap. So, depending on which route G2 decides to go, it's either going to be the Kestrel or something CP such as the Celeste or the Scarf, but they do go with the Kestrel.
Kestrel will come out in the end there, and I mean, you mentioned the Scarf briefly there. Scarf, after getting a significant buff in 2.9 or 2.9.1, we've barely ever seen Scarf coming out. That's a conversation for a different time. Let's talk about these two compositions. How are we feeling this one's going to go?
This one's going to be, it should be really fun, because it's a lot of fighting that's going to be happening, especially towards the mid game. If Fnatic get any sort of lead early on, once they get this Reza past the early game point, they're going to be looking for fights almost nonstop.
I agree, and it's also going to be about how that Cruel versus Reza matchup is going to go. Cruel usually does come out ahead, but we have seen some Rezas being able to outplay the Cruel and get leads, steal a few camps away. And then later on, it's going to be the story of Kestrel versus Vox, who's going to be able to outplay one another, and it's more on the players. Setno JJ versus Hondur is going to be an exciting match.
Yeah, just the micro in that matchup is always exciting to watch. Can you dodge the glimmer shots? Who's going to get the initial hit on it? So much to watch in that kind of setup. It's going to be an incredibly exciting game. Don't forget to get in touch with us on Twitter using that hashtag Vainglory8 to let us know who you think is going to be able to take this one. But it's time to sink our teeth into G2 Esports going up against Fnatic. This is going to be one hell of an exciting game, so let's pass it over to the casters and get into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the matchup between Fnatic and G2 Esports. This is going to be a wonderful series here, and this means so much for both of these teams. I'm here with Sean Austino. Sean, who's the favorite here?
Well, it's hard to say, Humanist. There's a lot of stuff that could happen in between Fnatic and G2 right now. My personal favorite is I'm going for G2. I've been liking the way they've been playing the last few weeks. It's going to be really tough for Fnatic to take them down, but Fnatic had a really good showing yesterday too.
They looked good.
Yeah, they looked really good. They're only 6 points apart right now in the standings. So Fnatic can catch up if they win this weekend and shut out G2. Don't allow them to get any points, just 2-0 them. It's going to be a tough task, but if they're able to do that, then they're going to be able to catch up. And that's going to be really fascinating to see. We're going to have to see Fnatic actually kite away from the Cruel, because he is such a huge threat right now. But speaking about the Cruel, on the G2 side, we're gonna. Oh, looks like there's an engage. Nope, they're backing away.
Nah, that was just Nettoolette stealing the Elder Treant there with the little self Vanguard.
Yeah, little self Vanguard is the best when you are this Arden. You can always get one movement speed, do a little bit of damage at the ground beneath you, move away. So the double stun is going to be very important. Actually, we have triple stun with the active camo as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of lockdown potential, especially if you're looking to chase Hundor anywhere on the map.
Yeah, and this Cruel too. It looks like we are going double weapon power here. We should definitely point that out. Cruel, Dark Potato here. He's going to have to build Bonesaw at some point. That way they can actually shred the armor very effectively from Fnatic to be able to make more of an impact with these Glimmer shots coming out here.
Now, our analyst talked about the Cruel wanting to put pressure on the Reza early, not letting him come online. At what point are we going to see this? Dark Potato, he's been pretty much on his side of the jungle the whole time so far.
He has been, but if you can do it early game to mid game, that's going to probably be best. Deny him that experience and gold. Deny him getting his Aftershock. Aftershock is what's going to be really a big power spike. They're fighting over the
Elder Treant right now. Actually, Dark Potato grabs it. He took a lot of damage. Spectral Smite's on cooldown. Deadman's Rush as well. It's not enough healing with the Healing Flask. He turns it. A lot of weakness stacks on both Palmatoro and Nettoolette. They drop off Net, but he keeps them on Palma with the Healing Flask. Dark Potato, 471 damage. Chops him down. First blood.
That was amazing, and he doesn't even have CP items yet, but he's level 4. He's got an advantage over Palmatoro, and that's why he was able to do that so well. He didn't shy away. He just kept coming back and doing more damage. The Spectral Smite, the weakness stacks that are building up, they really reduce the damage output coming out of this Reza. I feel like if G2 is able to focus Reza early, like they've been doing already with this first kill, first blood going over to G2, then they're going to be able to have themselves the game here.
Yeah, it was an interesting situation, one that felt like they definitely were going to kill Dark Potato, so I can understand why they got into that little engagement there. But Dark Potato, this guy, he's one of the best Krolls in the world, and he just showed it.
Yeah, he just showed it. Looks like we do have an Eclipse Prism actually being built up. Double Crystal Bit for Palmatoro as well, so he's definitely working towards what looks to be the Aftershock. And Elder Treant.
Little troublemaker. You are Palmatoro, able to scare the Elder Treant. Good job.
If you are Fnatic in this situation, you do have a lot of mobility. Arden, of course, he has a lot of mobility with throwing out his Vanguards. He's able to jump a lot with Blood for Blood as well. Techno JJ and Palmatoro can move. Keanu Nakoa.
Keanu Nakoa. Taking a little bit of damage there. Palmatoro takes a turret shot, but no harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul. Everybody's still alive so far as per this engagement. Palmatoro rotating back, and so he can actually move around a lot with his Troublemaker, and that's actually good too. He's not unlike Vox in that Vox has his Sonic Zoom, but he only has 1 charge on that, whereas Troublemaker can get up to 2 charge in the past 2 charges in the past update. Oh no, it's going low.
Hundor would have gone down if he did not have that Healing Flask right there. He's going to be just fine. Gets all of his last hits in the way. Dark Potato's made a way up. Scout Trap, though, reveals that Dark Potato probably gets a kill if there's no Scout Trap there.
Yeah, probably would have gotten that juicy kill. But look, there's another possible kill here. If Palmatoro reveals himself, he's able to troublemaker away, thankfully. But yeah, Cruel just needs to gank. If he's able to gank very early, frequently here in game, he has level 6, so he's able to throw out his From Hell's Art. It will stun up the opposing team members. That's going to be really good. Fountain of Renewal actually picked up by Net Toilet.
Moving forward, they got Palmo stunned up. We'll go ahead and Nether Form detonate backwards. A little bit of a defensive movement there. Not really a problem. It doesn't look like Palmatoro is going to be trying to fight anytime soon.
Not anytime soon. We have the Blazing Salvo and Piercing Spear picked up by Dark Potato. Looks like he's working towards that Tension Bow. It's going to give him some really good burst damage. It did get a little bit of a buff just to compensate for the health changes. We do see it doing 240 damage now when it's procced, along with the additional damage that you do have. Aftershock.
Do you know what we saw yesterday, though? We did see some Krulls go Bonesaw in a double weapon comp.
We did see them go Bonesaw in a double weapon comp, so I would prefer to see him go Bonesaw here. And that would really, like we talked about earlier, shred the armor. But Palmatoro picking up this Aftershock, that's going to allow him to do bonus damage after or during his attacks when he procs it. And coupled with the bonus damage that you get from Troublemaker, that could be a lot of damage potential coming out from Palmatoro.
Woo! Hello, Dark Potato! Get scorched. And he takes a nice little chunk of damage right off the bat. They know that Scroll is up here. Net has the flare. You see Scorcher just coming through in case Dark Potato is hanging out in the edge of that brush right there. Fnatic not going to be caught by surprise. More Scorcher coming out. Just looking to apply that fire starter and make Dark Potato think twice about any sort of engage here. You get into these kind of standoff situations many times, Sean, with these teams where if neither one has an advantage, they just kind of sit there waiting.
We were just talking about Bonesaw. It is picked up by Dark Potato. Bonesaw confirmed. He's going to be able to shred that armor very, very quickly. We don't see that much armor actually being picked up, and we know that with these carries, they don't prioritize armor too much. We do see a reflex block for Techno JJ. We do see a light armor as well picked up by Palmatoro, but the Counter is going in a little bit.
Yeah, he was looking for that Merciless Pursuit stun on to Techno. Techno got the Vanguard, bonus move speed, and was able to just get out of range there, but not really a problem. Hundor does get his farm there. Hundor doing pretty good for himself, 78 last hits here, 7.5 minutes in. Same thing for Techno JJ, so a very even lane matchup thus far.
Yeah, very even. But if you look, it's actually even as well in the jungle. 42 and 42 CS for Palmatoro and Dark Potato. So it's pretty much a bit of a stalemate so far. But the Gold Miner getting focused by G2.
They're going for the Gold Miner. I mean, this is where a Bonesaw can actually help you out here. They're not taking it quickly enough, but it's good bait because Dark Potato can hold it by himself. No problem right there. Now the form detonating forward. It's going to be the Gauntlet going down. This is Dark Potato able to grab the Gold Mine. And now if they turn this, they're looking for the Brigoose. Blast Trimmer only caught Net there, I think, on the edge, and they were pretty far away, so didn't really want to chase that one down. But they still have one shot, one kill, and From Hell's Heart available. They're going to move forward. Where's the stun? Who's the target? Net Toilet stunned up. What's the play? They got him! Still have the From Hell's Heart. G2 can do whatever they want here. They also still holding their Fountain, Sean. Dead Man's Rush in. A pretty wild play by Dark Potato. I guess not too wild, calculated. He knows how much damage he's going to take there. Fountain, they look for the chase. Oh! Just on the pixel edge. Palmatoro, man, that might have cut the edge off of his cape there.
It might have skimmed his booty a little bit too, but this they're sieging this turret pretty well.
What trouble? The Nether Form Detonator over the top side. Hundor, the Troublemaker. Does he have the burst damage? Palmatoro throws himself right into a trap, gets chopped down. Techno, he's going to be able to get the Vanguard and get himself out of here. I think he used a Reflex as well and a Healing Flask. One shot blocked off by Net. Didn't have the line anyway. Woof. Crazy plays here.
Crazy plays. Now we see that armor is being prioritized by both sides, actually. We have the Atlas Pauldron picked up by Keanu Nakoa. Atlas Pauldron picked up by Palmatoro. What's great about Palmatoro is because he can get in there with those troublemakers, he wants to be in the fight, and then he wants to kite away from the fight while he's allowing his abilities to cool down. So he's able to get off Atlas Pauldrons, reduce the attack speed, especially out of Dark Potato. We know that if Cruel is not able to hit as much, then he's not able to as frequently get his weakness stacks up, and he's not as frequently able to apply that Bonesaw stack as well.
It's really interesting. It feels like it's going to set him behind in the Crystal Path, but it's definitely going to help them as a team. So we'll just have to see how it's going to play out here. Strategy making its way into the game.
Yeah, and it looks like we are at about 2,000 gold lead for G2 at the moment. 3 kills, 9 minutes in. And yeah, things are looking a little grim here for Fnatic.
How grim are they? They're not too far behind in the net worth. I mean, is it just the fact that G2 kind of have just actual control, like dictating the pace of the game?
I feel like they are dictating the pace. If you look at the gold mine steal, we did have that one actually go over to G2, and with the turret, it's down to half health. So if you're looking at the advantages overall, they're stacking up for G2. Of course, it could still swing the way of Fnatic, but we've got to have G2 maintain the pressure. Atlas Pauldron actually picked up by Dark Potato as well, so he wants to dive in there and he wants to reduce those breaking point stacks that are going to be used by TechnoJJ.
Oof, this gets harder and harder to deal with now. You got stuns to deal with, 2 Atlas Pauldron now. Net stunned up there, a lot of burst damage coming out from the Kestrel. The chase is on, Troublemaker Ford Hundor. He's caught out there. Oh, but the Gauntlet a little bit shy. Nether Form Detonator over the top side. Keanu trying to kite back under the turret. Healing Flash turns around with the Blast Trimmer, blocked off. The chase is on. Dark Potato, he finds the stun onto Techno. The damage is starting to build up. Couple weakness stacks. Hundor's got to get in range. He's just slightly out of range to really just rain down attacks and glimmers there and burst the target. You can tell G2 kind of be a little bit unhappy with that swing and a miss.
Yeah, a big swing and a little miss there, but we did have that that boomerang come out. We actually had the From Hell's Heart land, but because they weren't able to capitalize on the stun, Keanu Nakoa wasn't near there to use his Merciless Pursuit. Then TechnoJJ was able to get away, Sonic Zoom away with no problem. If they're able to chain their CC, maybe even throw in an active camo trap in there, then they would really lock up some of the members of Fnatic and just be able to focus them down.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough for them to get an active camo down on the front lines. Of course, yeah, Fnatic's chasing. That's how it's going to happen right there. Good damage coming out. You see from Hundor, of course, Palmatoro makes his way up towards the lane. He needs to help his team hold this lane. They don't want this turret to go down. I mean, it gives so many advantages over to G2.
Yeah, look at Keanu Nakoa, Humanist. He actually has only 14 Captain of the Guard stacks at 12 minutes in. Usually 2 to 3. 3 would be godly to be getting those amount of Captain of the Guard stacks every minute, but he's sitting a little bit behind, and that's something that we need Catherine to do. We need Catherine to get tankier as the game goes on. Looks like he actually is building into a Echo as well. He's got that Void battery in his pocket, so that's going to be able to help them with double blast trimmers really engage or disengage from team fights if they happen to not be going their way.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they've done a good job blocking them thus far. Well, Net with that Crucible has done a good job thus far, but yeah, when 2 come out, it's going to be much harder to deal with. G2 as a unit. Keanu on the front line looking to reflect some damage for his team. Flares out. Fnatic are within range to be engaged upon. Do they know Dark Potato's there? Well, they do now. Dark Potato empowered up in the top brush. He'll move down. This is just a game of positioning. Both teams looking for an opening here. Net moves forward. A little blood for blood action. Dark Potato continues to meander from the top to the bottom to the top side of the lane. Looks like we're actually going to have just a recall back by Keanu. He's got to pick something up here. Oh, that's his Echo. We got the Echo.
That's the Echo, Humanist, and we also do have 2 Tyrant's Monocles and a Sora Blade on Hundor, but he's going low.
Hundor's going to be okay. He escapes, dips out with that active camo. Now Keanu is here. Keanu has Atlas Pauldron, Fountain, Echo. I'm ready for Keanu Nakoa to make some plays. How about you, Sean?
I sure am ready for him to make some plays. He needs to initiate. He's got to throw out these blast trimmers at the precise times to engage. So we see him right now in the tri-bush. He's scouting out a little bit. I'd like to see him throw down some more scout traps and get a little bit more vision control, because all he has are flares right now. But we know vision is so important, especially at this point in the game. We're about 1 minute away from the Kraken respawning. 0 to 3 right now in favor of G2, and we have about a little over 2,000 gold lead, close to 3,000 gold lead for them. So they could still have Fnatic push back on them pretty hard. The first turret for Fnatic isn't even down yet. Broken Myth picked up by Palmatoro, so he's going to get some pretty good shield pierce, and we don't see a lot of shielding. We actually don't see any shielding. Well, all we see are reflex blocks on the side of G2 at the moment.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you talk about all the ways he can apply damage. This Troublemaker, Blocks is able to Sonic Zoom around the fight. They're elusive. But if a huge blast trimmer comes through, it doesn't matter. You're going to get chopped down. They're going to have to be very careful here. Palma has no block.
Yeah, Palma has no block, but he could use his Netherform detonator to get out of there as well. Look at this, Humanist. Double Bonesaw on Hundor and Dark Potato. Woo!
Double Bonesaw.
That's going to be a beautiful thing. There goes that turret. Finally.
That is a beautiful thing. Now, stun from Keanu Nakoa moving forward. Troublemaker buys a little bit of space. He echoes up the stun. The From Hell's Heart. The Glimmer shots, another from detonator, buying a little bit of time. Palm with the Fountain comes out. Blast Tremor hits. They've already lost Palmatoro. And G2 find a massive win with only 1 kill.
Oh man, and Techno JJ is hoarding back now. They're taking this Kraken so fast. Netwillet poking out a little bit to try to contest, but it looks like he got baited into it.
That was so smart. Okay, actually, yeah, Hundor is going to look to chase him down. Dark Potato can finish off the Kraken by himself. Glimmer shot, 647 damages. Hundor tears through Netwillet's health bar. Amazing play. Sean, you know what I loved about that last engagement? It was that Keanu echoed his Merciless Pursuit instead of saving it for that big ultimate echo.
Yeah, this was really good. See, just getting the stuns and saving them for the opportune moments are what really matter here. When he came down in his Netherform detonator, he wasn't able to do anything, even with that reposition, and he just got deleted from the fold. They're sieging up this turret pretty well, though.
Sieging up this turret incredibly well. Dark Potato has this ultimate available. Let's see how this is going to play out. Dark Potato moving forward, looking for an opportunity. Hundor dropping low, active camo down. They turn around and just delete Palmatoro. We still have Gauntlet available. Netwillet not pulling the trigger on it, still holding the Fountain and the Crucible, but sometimes one of your teammates just get burst down so incredibly quickly that you don't think that you should be pulling the trigger there. The siege continues here from G2. Looks like they're probably going to lose this choke point turret as well. Hundor is incredibly low. Maybe looking to bait Fnatic into this potentially. Keanu is going to echo up that the second stun is actually blocked off there. I think Net used Crucible for the second stun, so they're doing pretty good. Kraken still quite healthy. Gauntlet's going to come down, stuns up the Potato. Keanu moving back. Hundor's low as well. Starts to rain a couple glimmers. Netherform detonator over the top side. Now it's found. They turn around. Palmatoro dropping low. Blast Tremor lands onto all 3. Merciless Pursuit. They're going to be able to lock down Techno. Oh, but they're able to get off of that, buying enough time for Hundor to move into the Vein Crystal turret. He gets another active camo. Can they lock this castle down? They finally get the kill. Kraken's still alive. Techno dropping low. Dark Potato's there. He's able to get that one. Now Dark Potato left alone in a 2 versus 1. He's got an Atlas Pauldron. He's onto the Vein Crystal. The Kraken chunking through it. It looks like G2 are going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. G2 taking game 1.
G2 taking it to Fnatic in game 1 here, 2-7 in favor of G2 in this first game. Really well done. Just a stranglehold, controlling the tempo and the pace of the game. That's what ended up winning G2 this game. Just the stuns, the chaining CC, the double bone saw. We only see 1 weapon power item on Dark Potato. Look at that. But he was just able to do so much work. They were able to pierce the armor and just whittle down, focus Palmatoro too. He's got 4 deaths there. And this was a really good game for G2. I'm excited for game number 2.
I am as well, Sean. It's an amazing thing. These guys, incredible players, playing like an incredible team. To break this one down, Munchables and our analysts.
Thank you very much. We told you to watch out for Dark Potato going up against Palmatoro. Dark Potato handedly winning that matchup in this game. Right from the word go in this game, Dark Potato was absolutely on point on this scroll. And you know, Sean Ostino mentioning that interesting build, just going for a Bonesaw. We usually see if it's 1 weapon power, then you go for that breaking point, but trying to change things up here.
Yeah, you have to assume that, if this game had gone longer, then the breaking point probably comes out. 'Cause it's almost always an offensive item, 2 defensive items, and then another offensive item on these curl builds. But the game just didn't go long enough. They didn't have a chance to try and get anything else on this curl because they didn't need it.
Right, I mean, with Kestrel on his team, also, if you're going to be reducing the armor of your opponents for 1 carry on your team to deal the most damage, Kestrel works perfectly for that.
Absolutely, and we have a highlight moment right from the start of the game. Watch this, Dark Potato in a 1 versus 2.
Yeah, and this was actually, just before the replay, we saw something very interesting. The Cruel was able to secure the Elder Treant, which is what helped him to survive long enough. The regeneration that comes off of that Elder Treant is, in most cases, really underestimated. So it helped Cruel to survive barely long enough to apply his weakness stacks and then get that lifesteal going. And the reason why he was able to secure it was actually a mistake from Palmatoro. He used his A on Cruel to deal some damage instead of saving his maximum burst to last hit the Elder Tree, and mistakes like that can really matter.
Yeah, it definitely mattered in that situation. Cost them a lot of the early game. Let's take a look at the next replay. This was a double kill coming through for G2 later on.
Yeah, and this was them able to catch Palmatoro again. Comes out of another form detonation, but only has a sliver of health, so he gets taken down immediately. And this just allowed then G2 to turn their attention to the Kraken and start this objective up. Now it's 2-on-3. And Fnatic, they don't want to just let this Kraken go over without any fight. So they try and just make their way over, see what's going on. But excellent awareness by G2 to recognize Kroll can easily just solo out this Kraken. The other two members take care of Arden, keep him away from the objective, end up getting the kill as well, and just it was just such a quick end to the game all of a sudden.
I mean, off the back of that replay, that's where they get Kraken, right? From that, in the next, 2 minutes, G2 goes from a 4-0 lead to just ending the game.
I mean, once the Arden was dead, they were able to take the third turret without any contestation before the Kraken even got there. So afterwards, with the Kraken, they only had 3 turrets to take down. So the Arden kill actually mattered quite a bit. And how they got that Arden pick was off of a play from Keanu. He rushed in with his boots to stun with the Merciless Pursuit, echoed the Merciless Pursuit, and stunned again. So the lockdown was so long on the Reza, and then the Cruel ult also followed, so they were able to secure the kill. But this is what you can see after the Arden kill. They pushed in with the Kraken, and they were able to secure slowly.
And this is something that Keanu was doing pretty consistently. He did it in this replay as well, where he uses the Merciless Pursuit, echoes the Merciless Pursuit, and just gets that double stun. The Echo, it scales in cooldown with the ability that you used, that you had echoed. And so when you echo the Merciless Pursuit, which is a 10-second cooldown, the Echo is available so frequently. He did it 3 times just in the last 2 minutes of the game alone. He was able to echo that Merciless Pursuit and get that double stun, whereas if you use it on the ultimate, Echo's not available for about 80 seconds afterwards. So really smart play by Keanu Nakoa, doing what is needed for the team at the time to be able to get these teamfight victories. And this is also just another one of these games where the Reza just really isn't able to have much of an impact.
Another thing is that I talked extensively about the matchup between Tetno, JJ, and Hundor in the lane just before the game started in the draft, and this time, in my opinion, Hundor came out on top heavily, especially the build that Vox and Tetno JJ decided to go for, and I'm not a fan of, because the Vox could have matched Kestrel's late game carry potential had he went for a Breaking Point, TM, TT, and then a Bonesaw build. Instead, he went for the Poison Shiv and Breaking Point, and that just doesn't give you enough damage against the Kestrel, especially since you have lower range. She can burst you down as you're trying to approach her.
Yeah, you don't get opportunity to build those Breaking Point stacks. And that's going to be one game in the bag. Let's take a look at the damage coming on through in that one as G2 took a handed victory. Look at the damage between the carries. This is exactly what you were just saying, Zoro. The build coming out from Hundor, far superior to that of Tetno JJ.
Yeah, and you also have to look at the durability of each team. You see a lot more damage being dealt by Palmatoro, but if he's hitting Dark Potato or Keanu Nakoa, that damage isn't as effective as the same level of damage going into something like a Reza.
Absolutely. And when you look at that Dark Potato, yes, he didn't do much damage, but you got to bear in mind what he built. That Bonesaw, it allowed Hundor to do that extra. So like a good chunk of that damage that Hundor's dealt can kind of be appropriated by Dark Potato there, because he was enabling Hundor to deal that extra damage.
Exactly. No, the Bonesaw helped Hundor on the Kestrel to deal a lot more damage, and that's why Dark Potato picked it up as the first item.
All right, so now we have to talk about the draft going into the next game of this series. G2, after a fairly slow early game, took this one pretty handedly, just rushed to end the game alongside a Kraken. Fnatic yesterday, in both of their victories, had a huge lead early on and snowballed that incredibly quickly. Are we going to be able to see that out of Fnatic? What do they need to pick to try and recreate their results yesterday?
I think they need to go for something that has the very strong early game. The Reza pick, it's a pick that there is a spot for it. It is a pick that can do well, but so many times we're seeing teams now take the Reza pick and not saving it for a last pick or something like that, and it just gets countered in the jungle so incredibly hard in the early game that by the time the items start to come online, it is already too late. So I would really like to see Fnatic not go for the Reza, but this is what an adaptation I've been waiting to see, is teams leaving both the Black Feather and the Rhyme available Now, with G2 taking the Rhyme, Fnatic can go ahead and lock in the Black Feather if they'd like.
G2 did force Fnatic's hand to ban the Cruel just because they banned the Petal. Had they left it on, they might have first picked it. In my opinion, Fnatic got baited really heavily there because I don't think G2 would have went for the Cruel pick even if it was still open, just because as a first pick you have other counters that you could have picked into it even if Petal is taken off table. So the Rhyme comes through for G2, and in my opinion that this pick is actually even stronger for them than the Cruel.
Right,
This
Catherine.
feels like a mistake now for Fnatic to not take the Black Feather in response, just because now G2 are going to be able to ban that away, and you're effectively just giving a Rhyme over for free to a team, and G2 is going to be more than happy to just get this Rhyme, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that you wouldn't go ahead and try and secure that Black Feather for yourself, because Black Feather Rhyme, that's a matchup that it could very well go either way. You put the Black Feather in the lane, Black Feather can deal with the Rhyme. He's one of the few melee carries that can work against the Rhyme.
So I agree, it is a mistake because also with banning Lyra, you still have the Ardent open, so they couldn't have taken both captains away from G2. The Baptiste follows through just to take it away from the Catherine. So two Fnatic, playing devil advocate here, if you take the Catherine, you secure the Kestrel pick. That's what I was going to say. The reason why they didn't pick it last game was because Catherine was already picked up by G2. Kestrel gets countered by Catherine just because Catherine can stand in front of her, pop the bubble, and then the Glimmer shots will reflect so much damage onto the Kestrel with that crit build. So Fnatic went for the Catherine specifically so that they're able to secure the Kestrel pick and allow TechnoJJ perhaps to dominate the matchup between him and Hondor.
So putting a lot of focus on that lane matchup, but Black Feather's still available. What do we think about that Black Feather into Kestrel matchup if that was something G2 went for?
It's a matchup that could go either way, but I would love to see it, yeah, because Black Feather, Grace Rhyme, this is a terrifying composition that G2 have picked up, and yes, Kestrel can go toe-to-toe with Black Feather in the laning phase. Once you get into the late game, when this Black Feather is just going to be able to dive into the backlines, and you have Rhyme and Grace, especially with the Grace to heal him up, all of a sudden Kestrel is not able to deal with this Black Feather any longer. The Samuel pick, I also am... in this particular composition, it's going to have a little bit of a difficult time to try and kite the fights away because you don't have that movement speed increase from someone like a Lyra to be able to back away from the fights. Kestrel can't really kite that well in terms of dealing damage while kiting because she has to stop and plant herself to deal her damage. So you do have a little bit of that chase down potential on the side of G2. I like their composition a lot better.
All right, so G2 looking to hard engage. How are you feeling about this one, Zara?
I agree with Tasty Bacon there. I think the only way G2's draft could have gone better is if they picked the Ardent instead of the Grace with the composition with Rhyme and Black Feather. The Samuel pick could work, but I expect Dark Potato to play really aggressive and secure camps over Samuel since he can last hit better. If however, Samuel goes up to the lane faster and rotates to Siege, that could still work for Fnatic. I mean, they focused so heavily on securing that Kestrel pick, they must have a great use for it.
All right, we'll see. They obviously had a plan coming in here. We'll see if they can execute it. Hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know if you're a G2 fan or if you want Fnatic to pull themselves back into the series. But it's time to pass it back over to the Dadcast and getting to game number 2.
Well, that's right. The Dadcast. We're on it. I got it, Munchables. No big deal. G2 Esports versus Fnatic. And apparently Munchables and the analysts think that G2 had a bit of a plan here. What do you think, Sean?
I think G2 has a really good plan. Once they get this Black Feather to late game, they're going to be able to dive with the Rose offensive at level 6. It's going to be really easy for him to get to that backline, hit up TechnoJJ for some of the damage, maybe even get some kills. Target focus is going to be really important in this game.
You can tell these are players that play up against each other quite a bit and like to have some fun. Nettoilette doing a little 360 there, landing his Merciless Pursuit stun. G2 able to grab the front camp, the Elder Treant, so that was their rotation. On the other side, Fnatic starting on the back camp for their carry and jungler.
Yeah, another thing that we need to see here a lot too, Humanist, is Dark Potato, once he gets through with his rotations, he needs to be able to, if they see that Fnatic is pressuring the lane, he could actually go to the jungle of Fnatic and actually steal away some of those camps. If he's able to do that, he's going to be denying Palmatoro his jungle, and that could be a really good thing to prevent them from getting snowballing too much into late game.
That's true. When we look at this Fnatic combination, this is 2 out of 3 of the Siege composition. It's very interesting and a pretty good balance. Look at the massive damage coming out there on Keanu. But nice balance with net on this Catherine here. It's very interesting. And, you know, our analysts talked about how, of course, G2 are going to do so well into what Fnatic has drafted. I think there's a lot of ways that Fnatic can actually kite backwards, lock somebody down, and look to turn it around on them.
Yeah, there are a lot of ways. Number one way is, of course, go ahead and get stuns off, just like that, with the merciless
This
pursuit.
turret's about to go down.
Yeah, and it's so early too. If it goes down right now, that's gonna be pretty crazy, well, Humanist.
They realize that Potato has most likely made his way deep into their jungle, which he has. This gives an opportunity for Palmatoro to drop down into G2's jungle. A very nice rotation. Now up in the lane, Keanu pops his healing flask. The Glimmer Shot almost taking him down. Active camo for the movement speed, moving forward. Net to let with the boots. Hundor jumps onto Tetno. Net flanking back, but Dark Potato's there. Dark Potato, dun 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 dun! First blood for G2.
That is another win condition here for G2 Humanist. Dark Potato rotating up like that because we know how much you don't want Rhyme to get in your face. Once he's able to get an auto attack off on you, once he's able to get a root on you, then you're in for a lot of trouble. And if he rotates from your jungle into that mustache bush, you're not going to see him coming if you don't have vision there.
I mean, Bacon said it's pretty predictable. Like, that was literally one of his big analysis points earlier. Net! And they're going to be able to find the stun on the Hundor. Active camo from the top side. Hundor, can anybody kill it again? Okay, Net goes down, but a benediction there. They had vision with that scout trap. Nice play. They counted to get the return kill. G2 up 2-1, 3 minutes in. A lot of action and happening here on the fold.
Yes, a lot of stuff happening here. A lot of blows exchanged, and this turret is going down at 3 minutes in.
Wow.
Siege composition in full effect here, Humanist. We do see Keanu Nakoa building towards that Fountain of Renewal that's going to allow him to get some healing down.
Trying really hard to get on Tenno, eating so much damage. Palma, can he hit him with the Balance of Verdict? Keanu's going to look to body block and he gets it. The splash damage doesn't hit. Corrupt the genes from Palma, gets him a little bit of regeneration. Net Toilette kind of out of range there to get the Merciless Pursuit landed. G2 suddenly just got shoved backwards hard.
They did, but look at Dark Potato. He's rotating over to the jungle again at the risk of them losing their turret. But he actually is rotating back up, so he may be able to get another gank off.
Let's see if he can do so. He didn't take the full wrap around there, and Fnatic did a very good job. Half the damage on to that tier 2 turret there. Tough place to be in. And the jungle just now intensifying. 4 minutes in here. Fnatic, just an extreme push composition, really making it work for themselves.
Extreme push. It might as well be a push comp from Saw, Humanist, because they're just taking these turrets so quickly.
No, they have a Saw.
They have a Saw. They have a Saw. It's a Samuel and the Kestrel combined.
It's so good. It's such a good siege comp.
They equal Saw, but they actually have a Sorrow Blade already on Tetno JJ, so that's just some really good flat weapon power damage. And they're continuing to push this lane too. Looks like they're going to rotate down. But if you look at Hundor, he's actually got his first tier 3 item. He's got that Serpent Mask there. That's going to allow him to get some pretty good sustain. We don't see a Shatter Glass on Dark Potato yet, but he does have tier 2 boots. He's prioritized that first. That way he can actually get some really good movement speed and be able to get it online more quickly. Frostburn coming out for Samuel. He's going to be able to slow up those targets pretty well.
That's one of the first Frostburns we've seen in a while.
We haven't seen it in a while, despite that nerf that it got. You know, there's always that debate between Shatterglass and Frostburn first. What should you get? Minion Candy actually got popped there. It looks like they're diving in.
Engaged on. Hundor taking a lot of damage, but they have Tetno rooted up. That Kestrel is so incredibly squishy. Doesn't matter if you have a lead. Now Palmatoro in the Drifting Dart moving backwards to pop that healing flask. He's going to stay alive. Net was not able to pick up his Fountain yet, so it's a tough place to be in. Net, another stun there. Another stack on the Captain of the Guard. Palmatoro and Net just kind of holding the lane here. Very aggressive plays coming out. You can see Hundor was level 5 in that engagement. Now, Allison Verdict's the Drifting Dark, Benediction in, the root coming out, Palmatoro getting blown up, and can Net let him get out of here? He's going to use his boots and Healing Flask himself. Tetno showing up just in time to rain down a couple of these Glimmer Shots, but one of the beautiful things for this Black Feather is if he lands that on point, you can pretty much trade at least 1 or 2 Glimmer Shots for free.
Yeah, you pretty much can. And look at Dark Potato. He's actually rotating to the backs to do some more steals back there. And if they just keep doing this, they're going to look at this. Even though they've lost 2 turrets, or almost 2 turrets, Humanist, we do see a gold lead for G2 right now. They're just stealing away so much, and they're really capitalizing. They're taking a lot of kills too, so that's more gold in their pocket at 6 minutes in. We do see that Shattered Glass coming out for Dark Potato, and there's another engage.
Benediction, the active camo. Are they gonna get stunned up? 2-man stun there. Nice. Oh, 3-man! Holy Nova! No, JJ gets roasted down. G2 on the chase. G2. Net's gonna go down. Hondor finds the kill in the lane. It's a double kill for the Black Feather. Ace for G2. 7-1. 6 minutes 45 seconds, and this is insane.
This is insanity. That ace wave of minions is pushing into this turret so well. Hondor is going to help him out with it. And not only are they taking a Crystal Sentry, an ace, but they're also taking a turret in return. And this is a huge gold swing now for G2, and they're up over 3,000 gold at the moment. That's not going to be able to be stolen.
Not going to be stolen. Oh my goodness. Hondor picking up, stacking the armor up right now. He wants to go blow for blow with Techno JJ here. Fnatic find themselves in a tough position. And I don't, Sean, I think we should remind the viewers of how we started off this weekend. G2 in the best position in Europe to make a run to challenge SK. Now, there's a couple teams like technically in the running based off of dream scenarios. But G2 faced SK. They put them down 2-0. And now showing up like this in this series here is amazing. You can tell G2 want a spot at Worlds.
Yeah, you can really tell. They want to get their ticket over to Singapore to be able to be at that theater playing on the world stage. And it's going to be an amazing thing when you do see them there. This is the number 2 seed, G2 right now, versus the number 3 seed via the standings as of this weekend. And Fnatic looked pretty strong yesterday, but so did G2 versus SK. And this is just an astounding showing that they have here. They're putting so much pressure on the jungle right now. That Crystal Sentry down to 1 life remaining, and it's pretty early. If they can eliminate that within the next couple of minutes, that's going to be an early takeaway there. Tyrant's Monocle picked up by Techno JJ, so that's going to allow him to be able to repel them a little bit better with those glimmer shots. But we see Palmatoro also building towards an Eve of Harvest, it looks like.
It's just really insane, especially based off of how strong Fnatic looked yesterday. G2 looks really good as well, but Fnatic looked amazing yesterday. G2 just running circles around this Fnatic squad right now and just showing us what they are capable of. Especially, they got to, let's go. Not only are they playing well, they have a very strong draft. So it's A to Z. They're playing this very well. Look for Potato to wrap around the backside. Valkyrie right onto Palmatoro. Just dumpsters him into the ground with that stun there. Now looking for more. The turret there looks will cancel off their aggression, but G2 not burning anything. Crucible, Fountain, healing flasks across the board, ready to go. They're gonna lock onto the turret. Potato boots forward. That's gonna be the faint of heart. They're on to Techno. Techno gets the Fountain, but he's taken down on point from Hondor over the top side. They're gonna get the turret as well. Netwet, not much he can do here. Feels bad, man.
He feels terrible right now, and they may not be done with it, but they're going to be rotating into the jungle. We have Dark Potato here, just doing so much work, 4-0 and 3. Not to mention Hondor and Keanu have gotten some kills too. They're just sharing so much with this team.
Sharing is caring, Sean.
Yeah, it looks like we have an Eve of Harvest going to be picked up next for Dark Potato. That's going to allow him for so much energy, sustain, and regen as well during these team fights. And he is doing such a great job ganking over and over again. And Fnatic has got to expect this. It hasn't happened once. It hasn't happened twice. This has happened multiple times where you see Rhyme just coming out of the jungle, coming from below. They're losing these turrets. And Fnatic needs to expect Rhyme to be wrapping around like he's constantly been doing.
It sounds like you're describing a horror movie. Just like Rhyme coming from below for destruction to eat them alive.
He is a scary, scary beast, and now he's going to be even scarier with these journey boots in tow. He actually waited. He didn't get it as his second item. He got it as his third item, but he was doing so good anyway, and now he's going to be able to boots in, give him a little bit of pain, boots out when he's getting in trouble, but he doesn't seem to be in very much trouble. The confidence that is coming out of G2 right now at 9-1 for their score at 11 minutes in is just astounding. And now this Crystal Sentry is no longer on the map, so what are they going to do about it?
Well, now the jungle belongs to G2. Now G2 have 2 jungle. The whole jungle, not just the half. It depends how you look at it, right? Fnatic, though, definitely pinned in, choked out in this game. G2 will take the backs, move towards the middle area of the map where they have a juicy gold mine waiting for them. Fnatic, if they have an opportunity in this game, Sean Ostino, what is it? How do they approach this?
Well, they need to not get ganked. They need to play to the strengths of their win condition. This gold miner, it looks like it could be going over uncontested to G2. Well, they didn't try to one-shot, one-kill it, but it's not going to go anywhere. That gold is just going to increase the gold lead for G2 right now. We need to have Palmatoro, Tetno, JJ just continue to kite. They need to kite. They need to turtle up right now. It's going to be really difficult for them to control their jungle. So I think the best thing they could do is maybe control vision. We see them putting down some scout traps right there. If they can control vision on their side of the jungle and just make it so that they're not ganked at least anymore, that could be a small victory in itself. We do see NetToilet working towards an Echo, but it's going to take him a while to get there. He still has a lot more gold to go.
Yeah, when you say working, you really mean it. He's really working his way towards that Echo. It's going to be a little while. G2, Hundor single-handedly contesting the back Treant. Old CK with a little feint of heart there. And this is G2 just styling on Fnatic at this point. We're a couple minutes before Kraken's even going to spawn on the map. Sometimes this is actually an awkward situation that a team like G2 can find themselves in.
Yeah, and if you look at there was a really good siege and a really good push early in the game from Fnatic, but it just didn't result in anything. They didn't capitalize. They got ganked over and over again. We have 4 turrets up for G2, 3 turrets up. That point turret still up for Fnatic. So we know that G2 is just waiting and anticipating for Fnatic to make another mistake. And once they're able to do that, they're going to get some kills. They're going to be able to capitalize. They're going to be able to probably take the Kraken next as their major objective. And then they'll just push into the base.
You know, that's going to be really sad. Oh, are they going to engage? What was up that healing flash that Tetno just like popped there? It's interesting that he pops it no reason to, unless they're actually thinking about fighting here, which is a weird position to be in. Now, it's Tetno getting lit up, Rose defensive backwards, Oblivion over the top side, blocked off Hundor. He's deep into the opponent's base. The Divine Intervention will come through. Huge damage. Tetno able to get away with another active camo. Can they chase him down? Oh my goodness. Almost chased back to the healing platform. 3-man dive. Kiano will body block that one shot coming out there. Net looking for a stun underneath that turret, but they're not going to find it. G2 so incredibly strong at this point, although they have used that fountain. Maybe an opportunity. Look at NetToilet, 1 versus 3. Doesn't matter if you have the Storm Guard up, man. You can just run in there, reflect all of that damage onto them. Maybe Fnatic's best chance is G2 killing themselves.
If they could just kill themselves, that would be great. We actually do see a lot of items picked up for G2. War Treads. We have a Bone Saw here on Hundor as well. He's going to be able to just shred through the side of Fnatic. Look at the gold lead, Humanist. Almost 9,000 gold lead. That is why G2 is just so strong right now. They had it even when they were losing their turrets, and they have it now. Just such a commanding presence. And we still don't see an Echo on NetToilet. He is really tanky right now. He's got 30 Captain of the Guard stacks, so that's going to allow him to just be able to be in the middle of these fights, reflecting damage, and just continue to be a nuisance here. He's going to be able to stun as well. But the thing is that he can't do it alone. He's got to have his carries there to be able to take down the side of G2. Kraken is up, and it's going to be a big fight coming soon.
It almost, I mean, I don't think it's technically on paper the best idea, but it feels like Fnatic maybe just have to just switch up their playstyle and just go super aggressive onto one target and try to blow them up. I don't know. I don't know if you agree with that, Sean. Maybe it's just an absolutely terrible idea, but it's kind of how I'm feeling watching this right now. Down 9-1 Fnatic. Need a godlike series of plays. Kraken starting to be captured up by G2. Fnatic move in. They have vision down. Net's going to look for the blast trimmer over the wall. He's looking for the long-range blast trimmer here. One shot comes through. I think they hit Dark Potato. Nope. Blast trimmer a little bit too late there. Now you don't even have one. Doesn't have the Echo. This is about as bad of a situation as you could find yourself in.
It's a terrible situation, Humanist, and he does have enough gold to go back and buy it. He did pick up the Echo right there, so that's going to help him. But the question is he going to use it right now? Is he going to get off that healing pad and just pop the Echo for that ability? I don't know. It's not going to be that great. What was actually really important in that matchup right there at the Kraken pit was we had vision down at a pivotal point where G2 was able to see that Netolet was setting up for the Blast Tremor attack.
Yeah, they were able to see it, but of course the G2, you know, good awareness. They've been playing like that all through this whole series and looking really good. A little stun onto Hundor, not really much damage coming out. You can see the choke point and turret just taken out very cleanly, very easily now. At about 50% health, Benediction for another active camo. They turn around, they got the stun, but Techno not really lighting them up like he'd like to. You see the cooldown so quickly there on that active camo. He's just very slippery, but Hundor right onto the turret. Hundor, he's all business, Mr. Business. Now, who's he going to go for next here? More active camos. Kraken's down. That's going to be a War Treads out of here, I do believe, unless they all activated their boots pretty much at the same time there. They turn around. They drop the Valkyrie. Dark Potatoes there. Hundor, he's in deep. The Oblivion will come through, but it's a little bit too late. Paul Matoro and Netolet watch Techno JJ fall, and now G2 thinking about coming in for this last turret. What's the play? Paul Matoro, can you do it? Netolet with the Storm Guard trying to reflect a little bit of damage. Hundor getting the stacks up on him. They're going to look to execute here. Switch over. Holy Nova off the mark. 808 damage. Hundor's a beast on this Black Feather. And G2, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be closing this game out, barring something unforeseen actually happening here. And yeah, G2 have got it. Wow, what a game, what a series.
They have got it, Humanist. What an amazing game. G2 just doing the work here, only allowing one kill to come onto their side. And Dark Potato, the name of the game here was gank, gank, gank. Early game to mid game, all he did over and over again was just come around the other side, engage as this rhyme, and he was able to do so much work. And the psychological warfare as well, the lack of vision, it was just all G2.
Yeah, all G2. Beautiful, beautiful stuff there. Break this one down. Let's throw it over to our analyst desk.
Thank you very much, guys. A